Hey guys, TC Made with TC Gaming. Wanted to give you another video in the ACF series. This one's going to deal a little bit with some more of the movesets and animation blueprints as they pertain to setting up new movesets related to a weapon. In a previous video, we talked about adding our new weapon and some of the armor and things like that. So this video should accompany that type of thing where you're building a new weapon and you also want to have movements that go with it. You remember in the previous video I built my ACF sword, which we called the greatest sword ever. And in order to work with this, this particular sword is really kind of a two-handed sword. So we're going to put two-handed animations with this two-handed sword. So in the case of the one that we had configured earlier, we can scroll down into the ACF sections down here, and I'm just in the blueprint for my ACF sword. I can go down in here into the ACF configuration, and there's a couple of different spots here. So there's a handle type. And on this one here, what we want to do is say that this is actually a two-handed weapon. Now what that does when you set it as a two-handed weapon, it tells the system that when you equip that thing, you can't have anything else in your other hand. If it's a one-handed weapon, you could have a shield in your other hand. So in the case of this, if it's going to be two-handed, we're going to change the animations so that both the right and left hands are going to be using the sword whenever it's doing its attacks and things. Now we'll also want to change the moveset overlays and the moveset actions, which are here in this configuration, and there's already some set up in the default project or in the sample project rather. So moveset.single-hand sword, we're going to change that. We're going to go down to moveset, and as you guessed, it's going to be dual-hand sword. And then we'll do the same thing under the moveset actions. We're going to go to moveset dual-hand sword as well and put those on there. Now we have to just go and configure the animations for those. So in the project, I've brought in the Frank Slash pack that I had from the marketplace. And the Frank Slash pack is built on the Epic Mannequin, so these are all compatible things. And the reason I brought this in is because there's a dual hand section in here for the animations. So if I go in here, now these have two different types of animations. There's an in place and a root motion. And there's one, they're actually built where he has his own mannequin, where I think the weapon's actually part of the skeleton, if I remember correctly. But in this one here for the mannequin, I'm just going to use mannequin in place. Okay. Now, we could switch a lot of these a couple different ways. I think I showed you this before. If you right click on here and go to find skeleton, he has this SK mannequin skeleton. So I'm actually going to delete this, and when I do it, where's this at? When I delete this skeleton over here, it's going to reassign all of the animations in here. So let's open this up real quick and take a look at it. Shouldn't be anything real super special about this. You can see it's all the same thing. So when I right click on here and just say delete, it's going to show me that there's all these different assets that are pending deletion of that, and they should be all the ones that are for the different weapons. And what we want to do is just replace the reference. And I think it's all the way at the bottom here. You can come in and find the UE4 mannequin skeleton that's assigned to Ascent Combat Framework mannequin. We'll highlight that and replace references. When that's done, I'll be back. I'm just going to say OK. And when it comes back from that, you just hit Save Selected. And I usually do a Save All and just make sure that we get everything there. So now we have, if we go into these Frank's dual in-place mannequin animations again, we have a couple of different ones in here that we could actually use for attacks. So if we go in here, let's just set up one for attack. Let's look at this one. There's a power attack or a heavy attack. Okay, and I don't know why he's only using one hand for that. But let's see. Dual mannequin in place. Let's see if any of these are actually using two hands. They kind of look like they're not, but they should be. Actually, it's just responding to a hit. We sort through these a little bit and see what's going on with these dual hand, because they actually don't look like the right types of animations. I'll be right back. Okay, that makes more sense. I was in the wrong directory. So there's actually, in this one, there's two-handed animations for the mannequin. And these do use two hands. So if I look here, there's dual hand wielding there. You can see where he's holding it with two hands, the upper thrust. And so what we'll do is we're going to go in and set these as the animations for our new moveset. So the easiest way to do this that I've found is actually to go into the blueprint. We'll go in here, we'll find our ACF full player, go into his blueprint, go to the mesh, locate the anim class. Magnifying glass will take us to his ACF full anim BP if you don't know where it's at. And then in here you have the class default sections as we had done before for all these different things. So you have movesets and overlays. In the movesets, if we roll down through there, there's nothing in there, excuse me, for the sword. Let's go down here for the overlays. There's a moveset for sword and shield. And I think that that's probably the one that you want to look at. Yeah, it's just got the idle. And in here, there should be, let's see if there's anything in here actually for moveset actions. So they're going to be up here. Actions that are related to movesets for single hand sword would be where you would start. So when we go in here, you have element, which is each of the different types. So there's single hand sword is element 0, element 1's bow, for example. If you roll out the value on this, what you should get down into as you drill in, here's his basic attack, and then the other element is his heavy attack. So let's just roll this back up. We're going to look only at the actions.attack for now. And if we go in to the value for this, this is where your montage is at, and also what things happen to ACF whenever you do that. So there's a little bit of configuration in there, and tells you what type of damage to activate. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically duplicate the settings that are in here, and we're going to set it up for what's called moveset.dual hand sword. And then we're going to take, what I like to do is take this montage. I would go and find this montage. You see I hit the magnifying glass there. I'm going to go out to where that montage is at, and I'm going to look at what's in it. And inside of here we have these different notifications and swings and all that kind of stuff already set up. So what I would do is I would take this and I would just say duplicate. And I'm going to say dual sword attack. And then inside of the dual sword attack, I'm opening that up now. I can go to the asset browser, and this is where all my different animations are at. And you can see in here we have different sections. So there's combo 0, combo 1, combo 2. If I go into this here and look at the Frank's animation packs, as you scroll down through here, you should see animations. Should be Frank animations in there somewhere. Right here, Frank slash pack, dual. There should be one for two-handed weapon. So let's go type in two-hand. It doesn't pull it up that way. There's a way to find these pretty easy normally. Might have to actually do it in here. So grab this, and then in this part of the browser up here, under the animation reference, open this up, and type in two-hand, and see if, yeah, there's all the two-hand combos in place and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to look through these real quick and see which ones I want to pick, and then we'll come back. Okay, so in our two-hand for this pack, we have a couple of different combos already in here. So there's combo 3, and then there's a 1, 2, and a 3. So we're just going to look at these. If you hover over these things, you can see the details down at the bottom. One of his is for SK Mannequin, and the other one's for the Frank skeleton. So I'm going to go to the one that's for the SK Mannequin, called two-hand combo 031 in place. So when I click that, it should replace that over here. Did I grab it? No, it didn't grab it. Two-hand combo 3 in place for the Mannequin. Yeah, I think I got the right one there. SK Mannequin skeleton. Okay, that wasn't sticking in there because I don't think this was ever retargeted to that Mannequin. So for whatever reason, I'm just going to go through this again, but you go back in here and you find the skeleton, and I found it, so then I can say delete. And again, it's got these two-hand references. It looks like every one of these had their own skeleton. I didn't realize that, so sorry about that. But if you go down here, back again to UV4 Mannequin skeleton for the Ascent Combat Framework and say replace references, okay, and let it go through there and save all those changes. Now we should be able to go back into the animation blueprint and modify that. But first we're going to go into the montages down here, back to our dual sword attack, and let's just see if we can try that one more time. We're going to click on the first one. I'm actually going to pause this animation, see if we can go. Should have been able to do it in the asset browser in the first place. So let's go back to two-hand. Okay, now they come up. So there's two-hand combo one in place, and these are only the ones that I've changed for the mannequin. So I'm going to select this one here. I'll drag it in, and I'll get rid of this one, which is the axe mail sword that was in there, and it should swap it out. Now that changes the timing of things a little bit, so what we want to do is we want to take this marker for our second combo and drag it to the end of where this one is. So let's just play this first portion here. So you can see where he grabs a hold of that with two hands and slashes across. So that's a totally different move than what we had before. Now I'm going to go to the one here for the sword attack. And I think if you do it this way, it also replaces it. So we'll try it this way as well. So two hand. Actually, this one's maybe more challenging because you'll see everything that's in there. Let's try this one here. Let's do it this way. We'll drag it over, get rid of the sword short, and again, drag this over to where it belongs. And then we will look at the last one. We'll just take this last one, drag it in, get rid of the one that's in there already, and drag that over. So we just want the markers to be at the beginnings and ends of each particular phase. And then the big thing again was when you're in this animation, what you want to do here is slide this marker around so that these markers here, so that this is where the animation starts to trigger. So if we go here, he's going to go, where's my playhead? I got to hold the combo thing with the playhead. Let me start there. Okay, so if you grab this playhead, as he's swinging around, he's taking this big swipe. So really your traces should start all through that little swing motion right there. So I would move this marker, I'm going to slide these over this way, move this marker over to where it's just when he's starting to come around here. This is basically where you're going to turn the trace on. And then I would turn the trace off at the end of that swing out here. And then over here, I would tell it that I'm done with that action somewhere around there, so that I could trigger another action. So there's the big swing, traces are on, I hit something, and probably even earlier than that, maybe right in here, and say, yep, I'm done. If you want to try another combo, this is where you would want to hit that button. Excuse me. Let's go in here to preview combo 1 now, which is in this section. Let's see how this looks. Zoom back out a little bit. So that's a big upper slash thing. And again, I would do the same thing. Let's pause that. Take a look at our spaces for that. So this one here, my damage traces should probably actually start way out here. Move these out of the way. This one actually goes over here. This one goes over here. These were part of the one that got moved out of the way when I shortened up the animations by changing them. So this is your big slash. So here's where you're going to start your ACF action substate, and you're going to slash all the way through to there, turn it off, and then as soon as that's over, basically you tell it that your action has ended. It should swing through there, and then the next one, we'll do the same thing. It'll swing right in here. We'll start to turn our traces on, and we'll come out through here, and okay. We'll turn it off, like right there, let's say, and then we'll tell it that it's over right there. So that sets up that montage, the dual sword attack montage. Now what we want to do is we want to go into the animation blueprint for the character, and we want to use that dual thing. So again, ACF full player, go to the mesh, I just find this to be quick enough to locate stuff if I don't know where it's at. There's other ways to do this, and I can show you that in some other video. But anyway, under these common actions and moveset actions, what we want to do is we want to create a new map element for a new moveset. So I'm going to hit that little plus button, and that little plus button right there is going to create a new moveset action at the bottom of this list. So I'll pull these back, roll these up, and element 4 you can see is empty. So if we're going to go in here to movesets, and that's going to be dual hand sword. And under the dual hand sword thing here, we can create a new action. And that dual hand sword, so that expands it a lot. The dual hand sword action would be actions.attack. So if I have the dual hand sword equipped and I play actions attack, that's what's going to pull up my new montage. And that montage that we just created was called dual sword attack. I can put that in there. And then the action is going to be just like the other one was. It's an ACF. You can either use attack action on here, or let's go see what the sword was set to. Single hand sword was set to ACF attack action BP. ACF attack action. Should be same thing. ACF attack action BP. So we'll put it in there. We'll just use the same thing. And again, we just grab that name to ACF actions attack. Okay. So now what should happen, because I have an ACF attack for the dual hand sword moveset, and I've already told my item blueprint that I wanted to switch to that moveset whenever that's equipped. What should happen is that should work. Let's go see. I apologize for some of these videos taking a little bit longer than they need to. So here, when I equip, this is my original. So I've got a sword and a shield equipped simultaneously, and I'm using that combo there. Okay. Now, if I go and grab the greatest sword ever, I'm going to move out of the way so these guys don't come and chase me. Now what I can do is go into my inventory by hitting the I key, equipping the greatest sword ever, which should unequip my shield. And, oops, I hit the escape key. I do that all the time. I don't know why they put that in there. E to interact, I to go to inventory, equip, come out of I again, and if I hit 1, now it should grab that sword. Now when I go to do my moves, oh, okay, so that's actually playing a root motion thing, so you see how it's drawing the character back. But the long and the short of it is that this is in fact moving my character in the proper move set. So let's go and see if we can fix that. I think that in the ACF and BP, if I would have said that the action config moves that single-handed sword. So if I gotta go back down here to dual hand sword, ACF attack action. Under this action config, there's also a thing in here that says, I think it says it way down in here somewhere, montage reproduction type. We'll say it's root motion. I think that may actually let the character snap to that new location. Let's go find out. Usually I use in-place animations, so I'm not 100% familiar with the root motion portion of that, and this may not work the way that I think that it does. But it's usually pretty intuitive, so hopefully we can figure it out real quick if that's the case. Alright, so if I swing this again, nah, it's not leaving my guy there. But what's weird is, let's see. There was another type in there. Again, usually use in-place animations makes your life easier for a lot of this stuff. Montage reproduction type. Actually, let's see if I think that's what we had, to override speed and snaps to target. It sounds like it would do what we're trying to do. Equip. And one. So the slash, the first one, is an in-place animation. The second one has root motion on it. And I don't think I have enough stamina to get to the third attack. Yeah, I just don't have enough stamina for it. But it would play if I just kept clicking on that and had enough stamina. We could actually force that to happen by going into the... back into Acf full and BP, back to that dual hand sword. And there's a thing in here that says, you know, what it affects. So we could just say in here that it only takes away one. Let's say it'll give me a lot more stamina left over, and then that should force the action to fire the third anim that's in there. But again, I'm just trying to give you the basics of this whole system. Obviously, you'll have to go in there and tweak it for each individual thing that you have, and the different types of animations that are available to you. Again, I don't like to make these videos too long because I don't think it's ever good. Especially what usually happens, what's happening here, you get to the point where you're just kind of struggling into unknown territory and wasting everybody's time. So, okay, so it's actually playing the animations because I have all the extra stamina left over. But what I just have to figure out is why that root motion thing isn't processing correctly. And I'll look at it real quick just to see if it's doing... Let's go back here for these. And I think it was just called combo. Whoops. Combo. And combo 01. So I think if you say enable root motion and go to the character animation and say process root motion, if that's a root motion anim, it'll show you that. Leave that on. Go back to whatever this combo is, and you can do the same thing. Just flip on enable root motion, character animation, process root motion. And so if it's a root motion anim, see how it's moving him forward? Every time he gets done swinging, he's taking a big step forward. I mean, that's kind of what you want on this other thing, and I don't know if it's because of the... again, I'm not that familiar with it. I hate to stumble through something like this and discover that I'm not helping you. The point of it was how to add the animations to it. Let's see. Dual sword attack, animation montage. It should be right there. Yeah, I don't think that matters. This is all doing the same thing, I think. I'll have to probably ask Pascal that's set up and then figure it out. But there's other stuff going on here that's kind of messing with me too, because if I right click on here and go find skeleton, it seems like there's still... No, it's on the right skeleton, but it still wasn't showing up in the other editor window. So I'm not sure what's happening there. But this again, nuts and bolts kind of stuff. This should work for you using whatever you're using. Those Frank's anim packs I've had trouble with in the past with mixed bags of root motion and non-root motion, and you know, honestly, excuse me, I'm very tired. I've honestly had not gone through the thing with all of his different assets to find out which ones they do. And I'm not bad mouthing his assets by any stretch of the imagination. They're usable. Yeah, it's that snapback. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll get past to watch this video and try and tell me how to make this work. Because it clearly can work pretty well if you have the settings correct. And it might even be something that I've done on the sword. But anyway, hopefully that helps you get started with the idea of how to add these animations in there. And so once you created the moveset, you know, you could basically go back and do the same thing with, you know, whatever your other attack actions are. So if if I go back to that animation blueprint, for example here, under the dual sword attack, I can go right here under the actions, moveset, and create another one. And the one under the dual set there, I could configure that to be, I could configure that one to be a heavy attack, you know, like we had up here in the sword. So just basically do the same exact thing. You just go through and follow the process again. Swap the animation out that you want to use the montage. Make sure you put the markers on there and set the corresponding statistics that are affected by it. I apologize. I'm so tired, guys. I'm just trying to get these videos out to help you out. Somebody had a question about this. I wanted to get something there. I'll probably do a better video later and maybe tear this one back down, but hopefully this will get you started in the right direction. You guys have a great night. My name's TC Mabe. Thanks again for watching, and good luck.